All right, assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you guys are all well. So today we are going to start with this paper, March 2023, paper 3, variant 2. We're going to solve this completely, inshallah, in the next couple of hours. We already did S1 and P1 in the last few days. We did the S1 yesterday and P1 Saturday. We'll be doing M1 tomorrow as well. Before we start, just a reminder that we have access to a lot of other yearly past papers, all of them solved in the description below as well. You'll find links to playlists from last year as well, where I've solved papers from 2021. I've been solving some 2022 papers this year as well. So you'll find them all in the playlist in the description below. Uska naam hai yearly past papers. AS and A-level math yearly past papers, आपको description में उसका link मिल जाएगा. Along with that, I've posted all of my crash courses on YouTube now. So you'll find the complete syllabus covered for paper 1, paper 3, M1 and S1 on the channel. The links to all of them are also in the description. And there are also some quick revision videos, which a lot of people find helpful every year. You can have a look at them before your exam as well. Now, I just noticed it's not appearing in the description yet, but now if you refresh your page, it should be there. Yeah, so now it's there. Okay, all right. So let's start with this then. March 2023, paper 3, variant 2. March का एक ही variant होता है और यही हम कर रहे होंगे आज इंशाल्लाह. Okay. Now, the marking scheme for this paper is not available yet. At least I don't have it yet. So I would really recommend that you are paying attention to the solutions that I'm doing. So in case I end up doing a careless error, you can point that out right away, because I'm looking at a number of things at the same time. I have different devices here, which I'm looking at. I'm looking at your chart and chart on YouTube as well. So there tend to be some careless errors sometimes. So I would really appreciate if you can let me know if there's any careless error at any point. Plus minus errors kabhi kabhi ho jate hain, because I won't be able to verify my answers because this marking scheme is not available. All right, so let's begin with this then. Let's start with the first question. It says it's given that x equals ln of 2y minus 3 minus ln of y plus 4. We need to express y in terms of x. Let's begin with this. So we need to make y the subject from this. How do we start? Y is appearing inside the log term, so we need to somehow get rid of the log here. But before that, what we can do is, this is subtraction outside log. What we can do is we can make a division inside, and we can write this like this: x equals ln of 2y minus 3 divided by y plus 4. Okay, so log के बाहर subtract हो रहा है, log के अंदर क्या हो जाएगा, divide हो जाएगा. Now, since we want to make y the subject, we can get rid of this log. How do we do that? We know कि log की base e होती है. अब जब log की base e है, इसको क्या होएगा, ये दूसरी side पे जाके x की base बन जाएगी, and it would become e raised to power x on the other side like this. And we have e raised to power x equals 2y minus 3 equals y plus 4. Now multiply y plus 4 on the other side, and that gives us e raised to power x by plus 4 e raised to power x. On the other side, we have 2y minus 3. Okay. Now we need to make y the subject, so we take all the y terms to one side, and that gives us e raised to power x times y minus 2y. On the other side, we have minus 3 minus 4 e raised to power x. Now we take y common here. When we do that, we get y into e raised to power x minus 2. That equals minus 3 minus 4 e raised to power x. Now we can take this thing to the other side, e raised to power x minus 2. We can take that to the other side, and that would become y equals minus 3 minus 4 e raised to power x divided by e raised to power x minus 2. And that is what you get when you make y the subject in this equation. It turns out to be y equals minus 3 minus 4 e raised to power x divided by e raised to power x minus 2. You can leave it as it is and it's perfectly okay. If you want, you can also take minus common from the numerator. अगर आप minus common लेंगे numerator तो क्या होएगा? Minus into 3 plus 4 e raised to power 4 e raised to power x बन जाएगा. और फिर आप क्या कर सकते हैं? उस minus को जाके आप नीचे denominator में multiply कर सकते हैं. And when you do that, you could also get 3 plus 4 e raised to power x divided by 2 minus e raised to power x. And that's another possible form for this, but both of them are fine. You could leave it like this as well. That will be acceptable. अगर आपने इसको convert करना है, minus खत्म करना है, minus common लेके denominator से multiply कर सकते हैं. And that form is also correct. You can also leave it like this at the end. All right. So that was question number 1. Let's move on to the next one. Now it says, on an Argand diagram, shade the region whose points represent complex number z satisfying the inequalities. Argument of z minus 1 minus 2 iota, that's between minus pi over 3 and plus pi over 3. And also, the real part of z is less than or equal to 3. We have these two inequalities given. Okay. Now, how do we represent this region on an Argand diagram? The first thing we have to do is we have to write this in the standard form. Okay, standard form में लिखते हैं इसको, ये क्या हो जाएगा? Remember, standard form is that you want something like this: argument of z minus a. Right? इस form में आपको convert करना है. I posted a video on complex numbers loci yesterday as well. You can have a look at that to understand this better. आपने loci से कैसे deal करना है complex numbers में. So आपने क्या करना है? पहले तो standard form में convert करना है z minus something. So it becomes z minus, you take minus common from this, and that leaves you with 1 plus 2 iota inside. And now this thing, the argument of this number z from 1 plus 2 iota, that is between minus pi over 3 and plus pi over 3. All right, तो अब आपने करना क्या है? ये आपका reference point है, 1 plus 2 iota. This is the point of reference that you would have on your Argand diagram. इससे जब आप angle measure करेंगे, वो angle minus pi over 3 और plus pi over 3 के दरमियान में होना चाहिए. ठीक है? That's what the first inequality is saying. Now let's draw this Argand diagram and see what it looks like. So you'll draw a grid like this, and what you're going to do is you're going to have the same scale on both axes. That's really important that you have the same scale on both axes. जितना distance आपने 1 unit के लिए x axis पे लिया है, horizontal axis पे लिया है, उतना ही आपने vertical axis पे लेना है. ठीक है? Otherwise आपके locus सही नहीं आते. Vertical axis is the imaginary axis. This is the real axis. Now we want 1 plus 2 iota. Well, that's one point that we need to represent. We also need to represent 3 here. So I'm starting with scale ले लेते हैं. Let's say this is 1. We have 2 here. 3, 4, we have 0 in the middle. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have to be extremely accurate with this, but reasonably reasonable accuracy at least होनी चाहिए कि देखने में roughly यही लग रहा हो कि equal intervals है. ठीक है? लेकिन at the end of the day you're sketching, तो आपने बहुत ज़्यादा जो है वो ruler से measure करना नहीं शुरू हो जाना, उसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है. But करना चाहें तो कर भी सकते हैं, but don't spend too much time on that. Okay, ये आपने scale यहाँ पे draw कर लिया. ठीक है? Now let's plot that point first of all. 1 plus 2 iota ये point plot करना है. Where is that point going to be? This is the point 1 plus 2 iota. You first of all have to plot this point. Okay, this is where this point is going to be. Now, the angle is going to be measured from this point. Now remember, angle is always measured from the positive x-axis. तो आप यहाँ पे क्या करेंगे? इस point के right side पे एक line बनाएंगे. इस point के right side पे इस तरह से आप एक line बना लेंगे. अब यहाँ से आपने angle measure करना है. अब कौन से 2 angles चाहिए आपको? आपने कहा है कि इस point से या तो आप minus pi over 3 नीचे हो सकते हैं, minus pi over 3 के एंगल पे हो सकते हैं, plus pi over 3 के एंगल पे हो सकते हैं, इनके दरमियान में कहीं पर हो सकते हैं. हम क्या करते हैं? पहले इन दोनों लाइंस को बना लेते हैं. minus pi over 3. Pi over 3 अगर आप डिग्रीज में सोचें इसको, this is 60 degrees, right? So this is minus 60 degrees. ये एंगल आपके पास किस तरह बन रहा होगा? या आपके पास नीचे इस तरह से कुछ एंगल जा रहा होगा 60 degrees. That's not ideal. Okay. So roughly it might look something like this. इस तरह से आपका ये आपकी लाइन नीचे जा रही होगी. such that this angle is pi over 3. Okay. Now this is negative pi over 3. What that means is you have to go clockwise. Okay, तो इसलिए हम नीचे वाले एंगल देख रहे हैं. So माइनस का मतलब यहाँ पे आपने clockwise आना है. तो pi over 3 clockwise हम देख रहे हैं angle. This is one line that we have. The point Z could be on this line. That's one possibility. And then it could also have an argument of pi over 3. Pi over 3 positive number है, वो ऊपर वाली साइड पर आ रहा होगा. तो वो हम यहाँ पे ड्रॉ कर सकते हैं. ऊपर वाली साइड पे it might look something like this. Okay, ये आपके पास ऊपर वाली साइड पे आ गया. अब यहाँ पे भी एंगल आपका क्या बन रहा होगा? This angle is going to be pi over 3 as well. Okay, so this is where the point Z could be according to the first inequality. ये इस रीजन में कहीं भी हो सकता है. ये रीजन जो है इनके दरमियान वाला रीजन, it could be anywhere here. अगर और कोई कंडीशन ना होती तो इनके दरमियान में कहीं पे भी हो सकता था. ठीक है, अब देखते हैं उसने एक और inequality दी हुई है. The other inequality that we're given is that the real part of Z should be less than or equal to 3. अच्छा, सबसे पहले देखें real part of Z equal to 3 कहां पर हो रहा है? रियल एक्सिस पे देखें, दिस इज वेयर 3 इज. तो आप क्या करेंगे? 3 के ऊपर एक वर्टिकल लाइन बना देंगे. 3 के ऊपर एक वर्टिकल लाइन बना देंगे. लेट्स डू दैट. This is what it might look like. Okay, it might not look very vertical here, but yeah, this is okay. ये आपने वर्टिकल लाइन बना ली. उसने कहा है रियल पार्ट जो है Z का वो 3 से कम होना चाहिए. So now we have 3 conditions. एक कंडीशन क्या है? ये जो ऊपर वाली लाइन है ये वाली, इसके आपको नीचे होना है because argument has to be less than this. ये जो नीचे वाली लाइन है minus pi over 3 वाली लाइन, let me mark that here. This is pi over 3 angle. This is minus pi over 3 वाला angle. इसके आपको ऊपर रहना है because the argument has to be greater than that. इस लाइन के आप ऊपर हो गए. You have to be on this side. और जो ऑरेंज लाइन है उससे आपको लेफ्ट साइड पर होना है. Right, because the real part of Z has to be less than or equal to 3. तो orange part की आपको left side पे होना है इस जगह पे. So कौन सा region बनता है फिर आपका? If you were to shade that region, the region that you get is all of this region. The triangle that you have here, this is the region that represents the possible positions of that complex number Z. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now it doesn't look very symmetrical, so I'll just try to make it slightly better than this because नीचे के side पे वो 3 units तक जा रहा है. So ये थोड़ा सा side से ज़्यादा tilted होएगी. Again, this is also acceptable, लेकिन आप थोड़ी सी अपनी accuracy improve करें ना तो उसका फायदा ये होता है कि आपका जो next part है ना थोड़ा सा आसान हो जाता है ज़्यादा. So for example, in this case, I would have wanted this upper line to be slightly more steeper. Yeah, so like this. This is slightly better, but yeah, so not much different. Okay, ये आपके पास point Z की positions आ गई first part के अंदर. Remember, these angles are pi over 3, and this is also pi over 3. ठीक है, this yellow part is where you could be in this case. Let's look at part B of this now. The second part of this. Part B में कहता है calculate the least value of argument of Z for points in the region from A, giving an answer in radians, give your answer in radians correct to 3 decimal places. So now what we want is, we want the least value for the argument for points in this region. Now we want the least argument of Z. अच्छा देखिए, point Z जो है वो इस yellow region में कहीं पे भी हो सकता है. इस yellow region में कहीं पे भी हो सकता है. Now, if you want the argument to be least, argument आप कहाँ से measure करते हो? यहाँ पे देखें, argument of Z लिखा हुआ है सर. That means it's argument of Z minus 0. यानी कि origin से आपको measure करना है. ओरिजिन से आपका सबसे स्मॉलेस्ट एंगल कहां पर होगा इस रीजन के अंदर? नाउ लेट्स थिंक अबाउट दैट। हम यहां से देखते हैं ओरिजिन से आपका स्मॉलेस्ट एंगल किधर आ रहा होगा। सो ओरिजिन से एक लाइन देखें, ये तो एंगल बड़ा है, नीचे आते जाए नीचे आते जाए, येलो रीजन के अंदर सबसे नीचे आप कहां तक जा सकते हैं? द लोएस्ट पॉइंट दैट यू कैन रीच इज राइट हियर। ये आपका लोएस्ट पॉइंट है। इसके नीचे जाएंगे तो फिर जी नहीं रहेगा। तो आप मिनिमम जो आर्गुमेंट आपको मिल सकता है वो इस पॉइंट पर आके मिल सकता है, जो इस रीजन का सबसे लोएस्ट पॉइंट है। This is going to give you the least value of argument. So what we essentially need to do is we need to find this angle somehow. Let's call this angle theta. This is the angle that we are looking for here. Okay, this angle theta is what we are looking for here. Now, how do we find this angle? अब देखते हैं हमारे पास क्या क्या इंफॉर्मेशन है, हम क्या इंफॉर्मेशन इसके लिए यूज कर सकते हैं. Let's think about this. So we have the horizontal length here. Horizontal length तो हमें पता है 3 units है. What else do we know about this? We do not know much else at this point. This is 2 marks, not require a lot of working. Okay, let me think about it. हमें ये अब आपने assume नहीं करना कि ये point जो है वो आपको लग रहा है कि -1 पे है तो -1 पे होना चाहिए. That would be an assumption. You are not going to do that. हमें ये पता है कि ये जो horizontal length है, this length, this is 3 units because ये 3 को यहाँ पे pass करे. So that is known. Horizontal length हमें पता है. That is something that we do know about. Now, what else do we know? Let's make use of this angle that we have. This angle is pi over 3. If this angle is pi over 3, we know that this is going to be a 90 degrees. Can we find this angle somehow? जो ये वाला angle है, ये angle हम figure out कर सकते हैं? या वो एंगल से भी हम उससे बेहतर हम ये है, हमें वो पॉइंट पता है 1. Yeah, so what we can actually do is we can find, without, instead of finding that angle, we can look for this length. So let me mark this point. Let's say this point is x and this point is y. What we can do is we can find the length of xy. ये length हम find कर सकते हैं, length of xy. Okay, how can you do that? You can use this triangle, ये जो मैंने green में अभी हाईलाइट किया. इस ट्राइंगल को देखें. You have an angle, this is pi over 3. You have a side. This side is 2. Why? Because this is number 1, this is number 3. ये लेंथ कितनी बन रही है horizontal? This is 2 units. तो हम ये right angle triangle अगर देखें, it's a triangle that looks like this. इसमें ये length horizontal length 2 है. And we know that this angle is pi over 3. I'm saying this is x, this is y. Can we find xy somehow? With respect to this angle, xy is going to be opposite. 2 is going to be adjacent. Opposite or adjacent में कौन सी ratio होती है? Tan. So we say xy over 2 is going to be equal to tan of pi over 3. All right. Now, tan of pi over 3 क्या होता है? Tan of pi over 3 आप calculator से evaluate कर लें. I think it's square root of 3. So this would turn out to be xy over 2 and xy equals 2 square root of 3. So this length xy is 2 square root of 3. आपको आंसर डेसिमल्स में चाहिए तो आप डेसिमल्स में लिख दें बेशक इसको. अगर उसने आपसे आंसर एग्जैक्ट मांगा होता तो आप इसको एग्जैक्ट फॉर्म में ही रहने देते. Now let me just evaluate this and see what this turns out to be. Okay, so this is giving me, और इनफैक्ट अभी के लिए ऐसे रहने देते हैं. लिख लेता हूँ 3.4641. That's what I'm getting for xy. ये मेरे पास x से लेकर y की लेंथ आ गई है. Okay. Now using this, what I can do is I can find this length. So let's mark this point something as well. Let's say this point in the middle is I don't know, z. This point is z here. yz लेंथ निकाल सकते हैं. हमें पता है ऊपर वाला पार्ट 2 है तो yz कितना हो जाएगा? 3.464 जो हमने नीचे लिखा है उसमें से 2 माइनस कर दें. So we can say the length of yz therefore is 3.4641 minus 2, and that turns out to be 1.4641. ठीक है, yz लेंथ आ गई. जब yz लेंथ आ गई, अब थीटा हम निकाल सकते हैं. हमें पता है oz कितना है. o is the origin. o से लेकर z तक लेंथ कितनी है? That is 3 units. oz is adjacent, yz is opposite. We can use tan again. We can say tan theta equals opposite, which is 1.461 divided by adjacent, which is 3. This is going to give us the value for theta. Let's see what this turns out to be. Tan inverse of 1.464 over 3. This is giving me 0.454. We need an answer to 3 decimal places. So this is 0.454 radians. That's what we're getting for the value of theta. But remember, we're looking for argument. Argument ये fourth quadrant के अंदर है. हम clockwise आ रहे हैं यहाँ पे इस direction के अंदर. जब हम argument लिखेंगे, argument की value negative लिखेंगे यहाँ पे. हम कहेंगे the least possible value for the argument of z here is going to be minus 0.454. And that would be your final result here. Okay, that's a bit harsh for 2 marks, but I hope you've gotten used to it by now. Paper 3 में ऐसे होता है कभी-कभी. You have to do a lot of working for only a few marks. So this is one of those questions. Part 2 of this, आपको ये least argument find करना था. It turns out to be minus 0.454. All right, let's move on. That was question number 2. Now this is polynomials. We have this polynomial 2x raised to the power 4 plus ax cubed plus bx minus 1. We are in, we are constants. It's denoted by p of x. When p of x is divided by x squared minus x plus 1, the remainder is 3x plus 2. We need to find the values of a and b. All right, now it's a quadratic expression. The remainder theorem to यहाँ पे नहीं apply कर सकते. We would have to use long division. Now, if you are comfortable using the coefficient comparing method, that's also okay. Although in my experience, that ends up being slightly more complicated in a lot of cases. So if you know long division and can do that well, I would recommend you just do that. So that's what I'm going to do here. Let's do long division for this. 2x raised to the power 4 plus ax cubed. Now the x squared term is missing. You can put a 0x squared there. Plus bx minus 1. You need to divide this by x squared minus x plus 1. Now let's do this division. You have to be a bit careful in this division, because whenever you have constants like this in the middle, it does end up being slightly more complicated. Now let's follow through this division process and see how this is going to work. Now, what if we multiply x squared by to get 2x raised to the power 4? So we need to think about this. What do you multiply x squared by to get 2x raised to the power 4? You have to multiply by 2x squared. Okay? अब 2x squared से multiply करते हैं इस पूरी expression को and see what that gives you. 2x squared into x squared, that's 2x raised to the power 4. Minus x into that, that's minus 2x cubed, and then plus 2x squared. And now what you do is you change the signs. This becomes minus, plus, minus. This gets cancelled. And now you have ax cubed minus 2x cubed. Now there's a particular way you're going to write this. And that is, you would say this is a, then you have plus here. Don't write this separately, write it as a single coefficient, a plus 2 whole x cubed. All right, a plus 2 whole x cubed. That will help you figure out easily what the next term in the quotient is going to be. Okay, so write it like this. So a plus 2 whole multiplied by x cubed. Then you have minus 2x squared plus bx minus 1. Now, what do we multiply x squared by to get a plus 2 into x cubed? We have to multiply by a plus 2 whole multiplied by x. That's what we need to multiply x squared by to get this thing. Another way of thinking about this is you can just divide this. You could say a plus 2 whole into x cubed divided by x squared. What do we get from that? We get a plus 2 multiplied by x, and that's what comes in the quotient there. And now we have to do this multiplication. A plus 2 into x multiplied by this whole thing. Now, what does that give us? That gives us a plus 2 whole multiplied by x cubed. And then you have minus here. So you say minus into a plus 2 whole multiplied by x squared. That's the next term that you have. And then you have to think about the next term, which is the x term. That's a plus 2 into x into 1. So that gives you plus a plus 2 into x. All right. This is what we are getting in the second step. What do we do now? We change the signs again. This becomes minus, plus, minus. The whole thing here in the first term gets cancelled. And what are we left with? Now think about this. What's the coefficient of x squared going to be in the next term? Let's simplify this first on the side. ये हमारे पास आ जाएगा minus 2. Then you have plus a and plus 2. And that leaves you with only a. So that is what you're getting here, a times x squared. Then what about the coefficient of x? You have b minus a minus 2. You see, you've got b here and then minus a and minus 2. So the next term, therefore, is going to be b minus a minus 2. You have to be very careful with your signs here. This whole thing is multiplied by x, and you have minus 1 after that. Now we have to do just one last step. What do we multiply x squared by to get ax squared? It will have to be multiplied by a now. So you have plus a here, and that gives you a into this whole thing, which is ax squared minus ax plus a. Change the signs again. This becomes minus, plus, minus. This thing gets cancelled. Now let's simplify the x terms here again. B minus a minus 2, that's what you have here. And then you have plus a here. What does that give you? Minus a and plus a get cancelled. You have only b minus 2 left. So you have b minus 2 multiplied by x. Then you have minus 1 minus a. That's what you have as the constant term here. Now, what do we multiply x squared by to get b minus 2 into x? Well, we can't continue any further. The degree of the divisor is greater than the degree of the remainder. Here, we stop the division process at this point. And now it's pretty straightforward after this. This is the remainder that we are getting. This is the remainder that we are getting. And they have given us that the remainder is supposed to be 3x plus 2. We just compare with that. So the remainder that they have given is 3x plus 2. You compare the two and you say, okay, in place of 3, we are getting b minus 2. And in place of their 2, so let me actually change the color here. In place of 3, we are getting b minus 2. In place of their 2, the constant term, we are getting minus 1 minus a. This is what we are getting for the constant term. Now just compare the two. You get two equations from this. B minus 2 equals 3, and that gives you b equal to 5. And minus 1 minus a equals 2. That is going to give you a equal to 1. And these are the two, no, a equals minus 3, sorry. So a goes to the other side, 2 comes here. So that was going to be my first careless error here. So you have to be on the lookout. A equals minus 3 here. That's the value of a that I'm getting here. A is minus 3 and b is equal to 5. All right, so this is one way of doing this. You could also try this using comparing coefficients method. In this case, that would be almost the same difficulty level. Mostly that's more complicated, but in this case, the long division process actually gets pretty complicated as well. And this is something that happens when you have an unknown in an early term in the polynomial. So in this case, we have a with x cube term. शुरू में ही आपके पास a आ गया है, x cube term के साथ a आ गया, तो इस केस में ना आपकी long division process थोड़ी सी complicate हो जाती है. Otherwise, apart from this, long division is always easier. So that's why I generally just prefer this one. इस केस के अंदर आप coefficient comparing वाला method भी try कर सकते हैं, but you would realize इसमें आपको बहुत सारी simultaneous equations solve करनी पड़ेंगी. You would still get the same result. If you're more comfortable with that, you can do that, and that will also work. All right, so that was question number 3. These are the 2 results that I'm getting from this. Let's move on and have a look at question number 4 now. So now we need to solve this equation. 5z over 1 plus 2 iota minus z into z conjugate plus 30 plus 10 iota, that equals 0. Now this is complex numbers. We have to give an answer in the form x plus iota y. Now, there's one thing that you need to keep in mind. Whenever you have one equation and you have both z and z conjugate in that, you have one equation and you have both z and z conjugate, there's no way to solve it directly. आपको क्या करना पड़ता है? आपको ये input करना पड़ता है, because now there are two unknowns, right? एक unknown z है, एक z conjugate है. एक equation से दो unknowns इस तरह directly तो नहीं आ सकते. तो हम कहते क्या हैं? हम z की जगह पे input कर देते हैं x plus y iota या iota y, however you want to write that, और z conjugate की जगह पे input कर देते हैं x minus y iota. अभी भी हमारे पास दो unknowns आ जाते हैं, इससे x और y, लेकिन इसका फायदा ये होता है जब हम इस फॉर्म में लगते हैं तो हम लेफ्ट साइड और राइट साइड को कंपेयर कर सकते हैं बाद में, कि रियल पार्ट को रियल पार्ट से इक्वेट कर दें, इमेजिनरी पार्ट को इमेजिनरी पार्ट से इक्वेट कर दें. सो that is what we are going to be doing at the end. But this is the first thing you do. You replace z and z conjugate with x plus y iota and x minus y iota respectively. Okay, so let's do that. And this would become 5 into x plus y iota in the numerator. In the denominator, you have 1 plus 2 iota. You have minus z into z conjugate. अब देखें, इस फ्रैक्शन को आपने खत्म करना होगा, तो आपको लेफ्ट साइड पे कॉन्जुगेट से मल्टीप्लाई डिवाइड करना है. इस फ्रैक्शन को कॉन्जुगेट से मल्टीप्लाई डिवाइड करना है. If you want to make things simpler, you can actually do this, कि आप बाकी सारी टर्म्स को राइट साइड पे ले जाएं ताकि लेफ्ट साइड पे आपको सिर्फ फ्रैक्शन ही रह जाए. So that's your choice, however you want to deal with this. This is one idea, that you take all the other terms to the other side, the rest of the terms to the other side. If you do that, on the other side you would have z into z conjugate minus 30 minus 10 iota. अब आप क्या कर दें, z और z conjugate की जगह पे भी x plus y iota और x minus y iota इनपुट कर दें. अब इस फ्रैक्शन को खत्म करने के लिए हम क्या करेंगे? इस फ्रैक्शन को खत्म करने के लिए एक आइडिया ये है कि आप 1 plus 2 iota को वहां पे जाके मल्टीप्लाई कर दें. दैट्स वन आइडिया. इसमें फिर आपको उन सारी टर्म्स से मल्टीप्लाई करना पड़ेगा. यू कैन डू दैट, दैट्स गोइंग टू बी ओके. या फिर आप फ्रैक्शंस वाला मेथड अप्लाई कर दें, डिनोमिनेटर के कॉन्जुगेट से मल्टीप्लाई डिवाइड कर दें. दैट्स योर चॉइस, एनी ऑफ देम विल वर्क. let's say I do this 1 minus 2 iota से हमने मल्टीप्लाई और डिवाइड कर दिया. इसका फायदा क्या होगा? डिनोमिनेटर से iota खत्म हो जाएगा. Now let's look at the left hand side. Left side पे हमारे पास क्या आ रहा है? We have 5x plus, or let's keep it like this for now. 5 को बाहर रखते हैं, अंदर हमारे पास क्या आ गया? x into 1, that is x. X into minus 2 iota, that would be minus 2x iota. Then y iota into 1, that is plus y iota. And then y iota into minus 2 iota, that is going to give me minus 2 y iota square. That's what I have in the numerator. And the denominator, this is a plus b into a minus b. That becomes a square minus b square. That's 1 squared minus 2 iota whole squared. That's what I have on the left side. Right side पे हम z और z conjugate की जगह पे क्या करते हैं? वो input कर देते हैं x plus y iota into x minus y iota minus 30 minus 10 iota. Now let's simplify both sides. Left side पे हमारे पास numerator में क्या आ रहा है? We have x here, and we have minus 2y iota square here. Remember what this is going to become? Iota square minus 1 होते हैं, तो minus 1 और minus ये sign change हो जाएगा. आपके पास जो real terms आ रही हैं वो एक x आ रहा है और दूसरा यहाँ से आ रहा होगा plus 2y. These are the two real terms that you're getting. I hope that makes sense. I could also write it like this: minus 2y into -1, right? Because ये iota square की जगह पे मैंने -1 लिख दिया. Imaginary terms बाकी ये दो रह गए हैं. ये क्या है आपके पास? -2x iota plus y iota. What about the denominator? In the denominator, I have 1 minus 4 iota square. What about the other side? A plus b into a minus b, I can write this as a square minus b square. So that's x square minus y square iota square. And I have -30 minus 10 iota. Let's simplify this. On the left side, I have 5 into x plus 2y minus 2x iota plus y iota. In the denominator, you see what's going to happen here. 1 minus 4 into -1. And that's just 5, right? 1 plus 4, that becomes 5. Right side पे हमारे पास क्या आ रहा होगा? ये भी iota square है. Iota square -1 होता है. It's going to be x square minus y square into -1 minus 30 minus 10 iota. अब लेफ्ट साइड पे देखें, ये फ्रैक्शन खत्म हो जाएगी. ये 5 कैंसिल हो जाएगा इस पूरे 5 के साथ, right? All of this is 5. This gets cancelled. What am I going to be left with? X plus 2y minus 2x iota plus y iota on the left side. On the right side, I have x square plus y square minus 30 minus 10 iota. And now I need to think about how to find the values for x and y. This is a 5-mark question, so it still requires some working. आपके पास एक कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर आ रहा है लेफ्ट साइड के ऊपर, एक कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर आ रहा है राइट साइड के ऊपर. इफ टू कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर्स आर इक्वल, their real parts have to be equal and their imaginary parts have to be equal. अब लेफ्ट साइड पे रियल पार्ट क्या है? लेफ्ट साइड पे रियल पार्ट हमारे पास आता है x plus 2y. This is the real part. Any term that does not have an iota in it, that's real. Imaginary part क्या आ रहा होगा? -2x plus y whole into iota. On the other side, the real part is x square plus y square minus 30. And the imaginary part is minus 10 iota. Now let's compare both sides. X plus 2y, that's the real part on the left side. On the right side, the real part is x square plus y square minus 30. On the left side, the imaginary part is minus 2x plus y. On the right side, the imaginary part is minus 10 iota. Now just compare the two and you get two equations from that. You have one equation which is x plus 2y, that equals x square plus y square minus 30. And you have another equation which is minus 2x plus y equals minus 10. All right, iota iota तो एक तरह से cancel हो जाएगा. आपके पास क्या बचेगा? minus 2x plus y, that equals minus 10. Now we have to solve these two equations simultaneously. What we can do is, since we have both x and y squared here in the first equation, what we can do is we can make one of the two variables the subject from the second equation. Second equation say you can, for example, make y the subject. अगर आप y subject बनाएंगे तो आपके पास क्या आएगा? 2x minus 10 यहाँ से. इसको जाके input कर दें दूसरे equation में and see what you get from that. So we have x plus 2 into 2x minus 10. And we have x square plus y square. What is y square? Y square is 2x minus 10 whole squared. And we have minus 30. So this is an equation that's only in terms of x now. We can solve this equation and find the value of x that we get from this. Let's simplify this. We have x plus 4x minus 20 equals x square plus 2x whole square. That's 4x square minus 2 into 2x into 10. Remember, this is a minus b whole square. Don't just square 2x and 10. This is a square minus 2ab plus b square. Pura likhna hai. So we have 2x square, which is 4x square, then minus 2 into 2x into 10. That's going to give us 40x plus 100 minus 30. Okay. Now let's take everything to the left side or the right side. That's your choice. The right side pe x square aa raha hai, sab kuch right pe le jaate hain. That is going to give us x square. That's the quadratic, that's the power 2 term, and 4x square as well. So that's actually going to become 5x square. Then you have minus 40x and minus 5x. That gives us minus 45x. And you have 70 plus 20, that should be 90. This is an equation that we're getting. We can simplify this so that it becomes x squared minus 9x plus 18 equals 0. We can see if we can factorize this. If not, we can input values in the quadratic formula. We can, in fact, factorize this. This is x squared minus 6x minus 3x plus 18 equals 0. We get two factors from this, x minus 6 and x minus 3. So that gives us either x equals 6 or x equals 3. These are the two possible values of x that we're getting. Acha, question mein dekhte hain. Okay, yeah. So it says, solve this equation giving your answers. Question हमेशा बहुत precise statement में होगा. आपको उसने यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है. Give your answers. That means there has to be multiple answers. You're getting two values of x here. अब इससे हम देखते हैं corresponding values for y क्या आती हैं. इसको दूसरे equation में जाके input कर दें. एक दफा आप दूसरे equation में input करेंगे x की value 6 और एक दफा आप input करेंगे 3. Let's do that. This equation में जाके what you do is you say let's input x equals 6 and let's input x equals 3. Okay, now what do we get from the first case? Y equals 2 into 6 minus 10, and that gives us y equal to 2. From the second case, we get y equals 2 into 3 minus 10, and that gives us y equals minus 4. So we have x equals 6 and y equals 2. This is one combination. And we have x equals 3 and y equals minus 4. That's another combination. So z kya ho sakta hai aapka? There are two possible complex numbers z that we're getting from this. One possibility is 6 plus 2 iota. Remember, z was x plus y iota. So x or y ki values input kar dein uske andar. It becomes 6 plus 2 iota. That's one possible complex number z. And the other possibility is it's 3 minus 4 iota. These are the two answers that we get from this. Z could be either 6 plus 2 iota or 3 minus 4 iota. That is what would give you your final result. That's what your final answer. That's what your final answer is going to be in this case. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Let's move on. This was question number 4. Let's move on to question number 5 now. In question number 5, we have parametric equations of a curve given, and they are x equals t e raised to power 2t and y equals t squared plus t plus 3. We need to show that dy over dx equals this. So these are parametric equations. What do you have to do? You just differentiate them separately. Dono equations ko alag-alag differentiate kar lein. You have t into e raised to power 2t, and we have y equals t squared plus t plus 3. Now you see it's a product. Variable देखें यहाँ पे t है parametric equations के अंदर. यहाँ पे देखें इधर भी t variable है, इधर भी t variable है. T is not a constant. Don't assume it to be a constant. T is a variable. तो t into e raised to power 2t, जब आप dx over dt find करेंगे यहाँ पे आपको product rule apply करना पड़ेगा. The first term you can take this as u. So you can say this is u and this is v. What would dx over dt be in this case? Remember what the product rule is. It becomes uv dash plus vu dash. Dx over dt is going to turn out to be u as it is. So that means t as it is into derivative of e raised to power 2t. That's e raised to power 2t multiplied by 2t ka derivative, which is 2, plus v as it is. That means e raised to power 2t as it is into derivative of u. T ka derivative kya hoga with respect to t? That's going to be 1. Simplify this and that gives you 2t e raised to power 2t, right, plus e raised to power 2t. That is dx over dt. Now you also have to find dy over dt. Let's do that from the other equation. That's much more straightforward. It's just a quadratic function. Dy over dt from here is going to be 2t plus 1. T square ka derivative 2t, t ka derivative 1, and you have 2t plus 1 from there. Now, what are we looking for? We're looking for dy over dx. उसके लिए हम क्या करेंगे? Parametric differentiation में क्या करते हैं? Chain rule use करते हैं. Dy over dx is going to be equal to, we're going to have two fractions here. The first fraction is going to have dy as the numerator, and the second fraction is going to have dx as the denominator. और दरम्यान में इस स्पेस में क्या होगा, जो आपका थर्ड वेरिएबल है वो आ जाएगा. In this case, the third variable is t. So you have dt here and you have dt here. What's dy over dt? Dy over dt is 2t plus 1. Just input that here. Into dt over dx. Dt over dx is reciprocal of this thing. Okay? So that's 1 over 2t into e raised to power 2t plus e raised to power 2t. ये आपके पास dy over dx आ गया. अच्छा, अब आपने शो क्या करना है? आपने इसने कहा आपने शो करना है कि the derivative is actually e raised to power minus 2t. Now, how do you simplify this? If you notice, in the denominator, we can take e raised to power 2t as common. And if we do that, we are going to be left with 2t plus 1 inside the brackets. And now 2t plus 1 and 2t plus 1 get cancelled. Denominator में e power 2t आ रहा है, जब वो numerator में जाएगा, power negative हो जाएगी, and we get e raised to power minus 2t from there. And that is what we had to prove. dy over dx turns out to be e raised to power minus 2t. ठीक है? ये आपको evaluate करना था. That was part A of this question. Let's have a look at the next part. The next part says, hence show that the normal to the curve where t equals minus 1, it passes through the point 0 and 3 minus 1 over e raised to power 4. Okay, now that's interesting. You already have dy over dx. Let me write that here. Dy over dx turned out to be e raised to power minus 2t. ये हमने dy over dx फाइंड किया. x और y भी हमें पता है. उसने कहा x is equal to t e raised to power 2t and y is equal to t square plus t plus 3. Now what they've given us, when t is equal to minus 1, we have to show that the normal to the curve passes through this point. Now, how do we show that a normal, remember एक straight line होती है, straight line एक point से pass कर रही है. कैसे show करें? हम उस straight line की equation निकाल सकते हैं. उस equation में अगर ये point input कर दें तो वो उस equation को satisfy करना चाहिए, and that would prove that the normal passes through this point. So the first thing we have to do here is we have to find the equation of the normal. Normal की equation कैसे आएगी? Normal की equation, normal is a straight line. Straight line की equations के लिए आपको क्या करना होता है? आपको gradient find करना होता है और एक point चाहिए होता है. ठीक है? अब हम क्या करते हैं? t की वैल्यू -1 है. t की वैल्यू पहले इन सब में इनपुट कर देते हैं. Let's input t equals -1 here, put t equals -1 here, and put t equals -1 here. जब t की वैल्यू -1 इनपुट करते हैं तो हमारे पास जो डेरिवेटिव आ जाता है, that is e raised to power -2 into -1, and that turns out to be e raised to power 2. What does this represent? This represents the gradient of the curve. Gradient of the curve at t equals -1. That's what this number represents. It's the gradient of the curve, and it's also the gradient of the tangent. What about the gradient of normal? Gradient of normal जो होगा, m से मैं gradient को represent कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे. Gradient of normal is going to be negative reciprocal of this. You have to change the sign. So this is plus right now. You make it negative. So it becomes minus one over e square. That's the gradient of the normal. ये आ गया आपके पास. अब आपको point चाहिए. Point कैसे आएगा? x और y की वैल्यूज चाहिए. t की वैल्यू -1 इसमें इनपुट कर दें और इसमें इनपुट कर दें. x और y की वैल्यूज आ जाएंगी. Let's do that now. Put t equals -1 in both of them and see what that gives us. t equals -1 x में इनपुट करते हैं तो हमें मिलता है x equals -1 into e raised to power 2 into -1, and x turns out to be -1 over e square. Right? Yeah, e raised to power -2, however you want to write that, that's okay. What about y? Y equals -1 squared -1 plus 3. And that is going to give us 1 minus 1 plus 3. So y equals 3. The point that we have now is minus 1 over e square, and 3, this is one point that lies on the line. So what we can say is this is m. We already know that this is x1 and y1. Let's write down the equation of the normal. Normal की equation क्या होगी? Let's figure that out. Remember, normal is a straight line. Straight line की form क्या होती है? Y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. Let's input values in this and see what that gives us. Y minus 3, that equals m, which is minus 1 over e square, into x minus 1 over e square, so that x plus 1 over e squared. This is what the equation of the normal turns out to be. Okay, now if you want to simplify this, you can do that. If not, you can just input this point here directly. ये point आप directly input कर दें. ठीक है, इसको simplify ना करें बेशक, directly वो point input कर दें. What is that point? That point is 0 and 3 minus 1 over e raised to power 4. आप इसको simplify करने के बाद भी कर सकते हैं. I'm just thinking, but that might be slightly easier, or maybe not. Let's just input that directly. 0 and 3 minus 1, 0 and 3 minus 1 over e raised to power 4. You have to input this point. आपको ये prove करना है कि ये इस line के ऊपर lie करता है. तो आपको prove करना है कि ये equation को satisfy करेगा. Let's see what we get when we do this. Y की जगह पे डाल दें आप 3 minus 1 over e raised to power 4. And you have minus 3 here as well, outside. On the other side, you need to input x equal to 0. That gives you minus 1 over e squared into 0 plus 1 over e squared. What do we get from this? 3 and 3 get cancelled. And we have minus 1 over e raised to power 4 on the left side. On the right side, we have minus 1 over e square into 1 over e square, and that's going to give you minus 1 over e raised to power 4. Now, since that point satisfies this equation, that means the point lies on the line. The point given, the given point, therefore, lies on the normal. That is what we had to prove. Normal की equation निकाली, normal के अंदर फिर आपने वो point input कर दिया. Since it satisfies the equation, that means that it does lie, the normal does pass through that point. Okay, that was question number 5 from this paper. Okay, Waqar and entrepreneur. Unfortunately, I'm not teaching S2 right now. I do plan to start that, but unfortunately, Lahore mein nobody takes S2. यहाँ पे there's no trend of schools offering S2 anywhere. I'm from Lahore. Since I teach at schools primarily, तो मुझे फिर इतना time नहीं मिलता कि मैं अलग से S2 पढ़ा रहा हूँ. So, but I do plan to do that because I like stats myself, and that's what my major is in as well. I did my master's in data analytics. That's basically applied statistics and mathematics. So I really love that as well. But not at this point, unfortunately. I don't have time right now. I'll try that maybe in the next year. But I have to cover a lot of content on the current papers still that I'm teaching. So unfortunately, abhi possible nahi hai. I'm really sorry about that. Yeah. So by the way, there's a friend. So not necessarily a friend. I know someone from my time at LUMS. He was my batchmate, Salman Farooq. He's teaching YouTube channel as well. I think it's by the name of Salman Farooq. I think उन्होंने S2 cover किया हुआ है. So you can have a look at that. I'm sure about his credentials is very good generally. Hopefully you'll find that useful there. उन्होंने S2 पूरा cover किया हुआ है. That is one resource that you can use. Okay. I think Sir Zain was also planning this year. I'm not sure in his kiya ki nahi kiya. He told me that he wanted to start S2 this year. I'm not sure unko bhi is time mila ki nahi kiya, nahi mila. But Salman definitely has it, I think, on his YouTube channel. So you might have a look. You might want to have a look at that. Okay, so we have 7, 8, 9, 10 vectors. Okay, now at this point, let's have a short break and we resume at 5:50. All right, guys, let's resume. So before we resume, actually, just a reminder that you like the stream and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you find this content useful, make sure that you share with others as well who you think might find this helpful. And also just a reminder that you have a lot of other useful content posted in the description below as well. Have a look at that. You might find that useful as well. Let's start with this. Let's start with question number 7 now. So it says, the diagram shows a circle with center O and radius R. The angle of the minor sector AOB of the circle is x radians. ये आपको नजर आ रहा है यहाँ पे minor sector का radius का angle x radians है. The area of the major sector of the circle is 3 times the area of the shaded region. Okay, now that's the important part. Area of the major sector is 3 times the area of the shaded region. Okay, major sector का area क्या होगा? अगर ये angle x है, तो बाकी angle कितना होगा? The rest of the angle is 2 pi. Remember, circle का angle total कितना होता है? 360 degrees. So that's 2 pi radians. 2 pi में से आप minus कर दें x. That's the angle that you have for the major sector. Let's write that down. First of all, आपने show क्या करना है? आपने ये show करना है x का ये relation, ये equation आती है x की. How do you do that? You write this down. You say area of the major sector that is equal to 3 times the area of the shaded region. Shaded region क्या है? That's a segment, right? ये आपने करना है. Now, what's the area of a sector? Area of a sector is half r square theta. And what about segment? Segment is sector minus triangle. आप इसको डायरेक्टली ऐसे भी लिख सकते हैं. Half r square theta minus half r square sin theta होता है ना? Half r square into theta minus sin theta. Right like this as well. Yes, अलग-अलग लिखना है. That's your choice. Remember, the thetas here are different. Let's call this theta 1, the left side wala, because that's for the major sector. Right side to minor sector wala, so that's r square theta 2 minus half r square sin theta 2. Where is this coming from? This is the area of the triangle, because एक side आ रहा है, दूसरी भी आ रहा है. That's half a into b into sine of c. Half ab sin c, और यहाँ पे क्या बन जाएगा? Half r square sin theta. Okay? तो हम क्या कर रहे हैं? सेक्टर में से माइनस कर रहे हैं ट्रायंगल, वो सेगमेंट आ जाएगा. ये हमारे पास एक इक्वेशन बन गई. Now we just have to input values here. Radius हमें पता है क्या? Radius हमें नहीं पता, तो वो कैंसिल हो जाएगा in any case. Half r square theta 1. Theta 1 is the bigger angle. That's 2 pi minus x. On the right side, we have 3 into 1 over 2 into r square. This आप r square अगर common ले लें बाहर, 3r square हो जाएगा. You can take 2 common outside as well. That leaves you with 3 over 2 here. Then what are we left with? Theta half r square मैंने बाहर लिख लिया, ठीक है? अंदर क्या बचा? Theta 2, which is x minus sine of theta 2, which is sine of x. Now r square and r square get cancelled, and 2 and 2 get cancelled. We have 2 pi minus x on the left side. On the right side, we have 3x minus 3 sine x. आपको क्या करना है? अब x को सब्जेक्ट बना लेना है, बाकी सब कुछ दूसरी साइड पे ले जाना है. This does not, yeah, so that should work. x को आपने सब्जेक्ट बनाना है, तो ये 3x वाली टर्म भी आ रही है. Let's take this thing to the left side, या फिर इसको राइट पे ले जाना. That's your choice. आपके पास आ जाएगा 4x. sin x को यहाँ पे ले आए. That is going to leave you with 3 sin x plus 2 pi, right? So I've taken this x to the other side. That becomes 4x, and brought minus 3 sin x to the left side. That's 3 sin x plus 2 pi on the left side. Now 4 से divide कर दें. That gives us 3 over 4 sin x plus 2 pi over 4, which becomes pi over 2. So that's what we had to prove. X equals 3 over 4 into sin x plus pi over 2. ये आपने प्रूव करना था फर्स्ट पार्ट में. इसको एग्जैक्टली इस फॉर्म में अगर लिखें तो ये क्या बन जाएगा, हाफ पाई। ओके, आप एज इट इज इस तरह भी छोड़ सकते हैं, दैट्स आल्सो फाइन। इस पॉइंट तक भी वो प्रूव हो जाता है। Let's move on. That was the first part. Part B कहता है show by calculation that the root of the equation A lies between 2 and 2.5. Now, what's the equation that we're getting? It's x equals 3 over 4 into sine x plus half pi. अब ये प्रूव कैसे करते हैं कि दो पॉइंट्स के दरमियान में, दो नंबर्स के दरमियान में रूट लाई करते हैं? You have to first convert this equation to this form, f of x equals 0. That means everything on one side and only 0 on the other side. पहले इस form में लेकर आने आपने. So take all terms to one side. It becomes x minus 3 over 4 into sin x minus half pi equals 0. इस form में convert कर लिया. अब आप क्या कहेंगे? Left side जो है, let's say this is my f of x. आपने इसके अंदर एक दफा 2 input कर देना है और एक दफा 2.5 इनपुट कर देना और देखना आपके पास क्या आता है। 2 इनपुट करके देखें क्या आता है, 2.5 इनपुट करके देखें क्या आता है। लेट्स इनपुट 2, दैट गिव्स मी 2 minus 3 over 4 into sine of 2 minus, in fact plus, no minus, sorry about that, minus 3 over 4 sine of 2 minus pi over 2. Okay, so the first one is giving me minus 0.253. ठीक है, और सेकंड वाले से मेरे पास क्या आता है, 2.5 इनपुट करते हैं तो 2.5 इनपुट करते हैं तो हमारे पास आ जाएगा 2.5 minus 3 over 4 into, just confirm this, 3 over 4 sin x plus pi over 2. Yes, that's correct. अब 2.5 डाल दें x की जगह पे, 2.5 minus 3 over 4 into sine of 2.5 and then minus pi over 2. That is giving me 0.48 लेफ्ट साइड के ऊपर। ठीक है, अब एक नेगेटिव आ रहा है, दूसरा पॉजिटिव आ रहा है। व्हाट डू यू से? अब यहाँ पे लिखेंगे, ये स्टेटमेंट लिखना जरूरी होगा। यू से f of 2 and f of 2.5 they have different signs या opposite signs, या आप ये लिख देंगे साइन चेंज हो रहा है, कुछ भी इस तरह के लिख दें, वर्डिंग लिखना जरूरी है। लेकिन they have different signs, that means the root lies between 2 and 2.5. ठीक है, साइन चेंज हो रहा है, उस वजह से रूट लाई करता है 2 और 2.5 के दरमियान। Okay, now it says use an iterative formula based on the equation in A to calculate this root. Yes, Ahmed, that's correct. Ahmed, unfortunately, I am running out of time right now. We could have this discussion at the end, maybe, if we have time. Otherwise, tomorrow when we do S1, that's going to be a shorter paper. So कल हमारे पास थोड़ा time होगा. Not S1, sorry, कल हम M1 कर रहे होंगे 2023 का, March 2023. But आज we only have about 30 minutes to go. We still have to complete the paper, so I'll be quick about this and just do the rest of the parts very quickly. Okay, now let's look at this part, the third part now. Use an iterative formula based on the equation in A to calculate this root, correct to 2 decimal places, give the result of each iteration to 4 decimal places. Now, this is the equation that we have from the previous part. X equals 3 over 4 sin x plus pi over 2. This is the equation. ठीक है, आपने क्या करना है, इसको यूज करके आइटरेटिव फॉर्मूला बनाना है। हाउ डू यू मेक एन आइटरेटिव फॉर्मूला फ्रॉम दिस? आपको x एक साइड पे रखना होता है, एक x कोई भी, और बाकी सब कुछ दूसरी साइड के ऊपर। नाउ इट्स ऑलरेडी दैट फॉर्म, एक x आपके पास एक साइड पर आया है, एवरीथिंग एल्स इज ऑन द अदर साइड। ऑल यू हैव टू डू इज पुट n plus 1 on the left side. इस x के साथ n plus 1 लगा देंगे लेफ्ट वाले x के साथ, और जो राइट वाला x है उसके साथ हम क्या करेंगे, उसके साथ n लगा देंगे, and that's your iterative formula. And now what you have to do is you have to have a starting value x1. What would that starting value be? We have proved that a root lies between 2 and 2.5. अब 2 और 2.5 के दरमियान में क्या होएगा, कुछ भी हो सकता है। तो हमारा बेस्ट गेस क्या हो सकता है इस पॉइंट के ऊपर? दैट विल बी द मिड पॉइंट ऑफ 2 and 2.5. So we can have the starting value as 2.25. ये आप इनपुट करेंगे कैलकुलेटर में. कैसे इनपुट करेंगे? आप सबसे पहले 2.25 डालेंगे कैलकुलेटर में और आप इक्वल टू बटन प्रेस कर देंगे. इससे क्या होगा? आपका 2.25 आंसर बटन में सेव हो जाएगा. Then you write down this formula on your calculator, 3/4 into sine of answer plus pi/2. And that will give you the values for the next iterations. या देखें आपके पास क्या आता है. It's better to show the working for the first one. उसके बाद आप लिख दें, वरना इसके डायरेक्टली भी लिख दें इतना मसला वैसा नहीं होता. 2.25 ये हमने यहाँ पे लिखा. अब वो फॉर्मूला इनपुट कर दें. 3 divided by 4 into sine of answer plus pi/2. Let's see what we get from this. So x2 is turning out to be 2.15. You see, you have to give your answers to 4 decimal places. This is turning out to be 2.154,351. इसको राउंड ऑफ करेंगे तो ये 3 जो है राउंड अप हो जाएगा, ये 4 बन जाएगा. So it's 1544 here. Okay. What about x3? Press the equal button again. That gives me 2.19667. Again, ये राउंड अप करना पड़ेगा तो ये 1967 हो जाएगा. x4, press the equal button again. That gives me 2.1786. Then x5, that gives me 2.18646. तो इसको राउंड ऑफ करके 65 करना पड़ेगा. And you have x6, that's 2.1831. ये मेरे पास आ रहा है 309. तो इसको राउंड ऑफ करके 31 करना पड़ेगा. अब आप देख लें क्या वैल्यू स्टेबल हो रही है. यस, ये भी आपको 2.18 दे रहा है, ये भी 2.18 दे रहा है राउंड ऑफ होकर, ये भी 2.18 दे रहा है. आपको फाइनल आंसर 2 डेसिमल प्लेसेस तक चाहिए. 2 डेसिमल प्लेसेस तक आंसर आपका स्टेबल हो गया है. टू 2 डेसिमल प्लेसेस तक आपका आंसर स्टेबल हो गया है for 3 consecutive iterations. You don't have to go any further. You can stop at this point and you can say that the final answer is x equals 2.18. ठीक है. 2 decimal places तक अगर आपका आंसर स्टेबल हो जाए for 3 consecutive iterations, you can stop at that point. If you want, you can keep going on जब तक सारे decimal places equal ना हो जाए, but you don't have to do that. This is enough. आपको ज़्यादा आगे जाना ज़रूरी नहीं है. ठीक है. This is enough number of iterations for this question. Okay. So x equals 2.18 here. Let's move on to the next one now. This is differentiation. Yeah. Okay. We have this diagram. Second part में शायद integration करनी पड़े shaded area निकालने के लिए. Question number 8. Let's have a look at this. The diagram shows the curve y equals x cube into ln x for x greater than 0 and its minimum point n. Minimum point find करना है. First part में उसने कहा इसके exact coordinates चाहिए n के. So y equals x cube into ln of x. All right. ये आपके पास फंक्शन है. m की कोऑर्डिनेट्स निकालें. That's the minimum point. टर्निंग पॉइंट कैसे निकालते हैं? डेरिवेटिव फाइंड करते हैं, उसको 0 से इक्वेट कर देते हैं. लेट्स डिफरेंशिएट दिस थिंग. We have u here and v here. डेरिवेटिव क्या होगा? uv dash plus vu dash. प्रोडक्ट लगाना है आपने. प्रोडक्ट है, राइट? u as it is, that means x cube as it is, into derivative of ln x, which is 1 over x, plus derivative of u, which is 3x squared, into ln x as it is. Since you're looking for the turning point, you put that equal to 0. 0 से equate कर दें इसको. That gives you x square, because यहाँ पे cancellation हो जाएगी, plus 3x square ln x. Now you need to solve this equation. You can take x square common, and that leaves you with 1 plus 3 ln x inside, 0 on the other side, which means either x square equals 0 or 1 plus 3 ln x equals 0. So one possible value of x that we're getting is 0. Then we have ln x equal to minus 1 over 3 from here. How do you find the value of x from this? X equals, यहाँ से ln की base t होती है, e will go to the other side, become the base of minus 1 over 3, and that gives us e raised to power minus 1 over 3. These are the two possible values of x that we're getting. अब देखिए आपको m की कोऑर्डिनेट चाहिए. आपको नजर आ रहे हैं m का x कोऑर्डिनेट 0 तो नहीं है. So you will say this is not possible, this is not m, ये हमें नहीं चाहिए, ये दूसरी वैल्यू है, ये हमें चाहिए। x हमारे पास यहाँ से आ रहा है 1 over e raised to power 1 over 3। आप इस तरह भी छोड़ सकते हैं, that's also fine, this is what we're getting। okay, x आ गया, अब y कैसे आएगा, वापस इक्वेशन में इनपुट कर दें, आपको उससे y आ जाएगा। Let's do that। y equals x cube into ln x, that's what you have। इसमें इनपुट कर दें x की वैल्यू, that gives you 1 over e raised to power 1 over 3 whole cube into ln of e raised to power minus 1 over 3. Okay, this gives me 1 over e into minus 1 over 3, right? Because the power है, power नीचे आ जाएगी, minus 1 over 3 multiply हो जाएगी, and we're left with ln e there। ln e तो 1 ही होता है, so this turns out to be y turns out to be equal to minus 1 over 3 times e। So what are the coordinates of m then? The coordinates of m therefore turn out to be 1 over e raised to power 1 over 3 and minus 1 over 3e। These are the coordinates of the point m that we were looking for। Okay, that was the first part, that's the turning point, ये हमने निकाल लिया। Second part says find the exact area, again you'll have to find the exact value, decimals में नहीं लगता। Now we need to find this exact area for the shaded region bounded by the curve, the x-axis and the line x equals 1 over 2। आपको डायग्राम पे नजर आ रहा है shaded region कैसे फिगर आउट करेंगे। This is area between the graph and the x-axis, right? अब लिमिट्स क्या लेंगे, एक लिमिट तो उसने बता दी, दूसरी लिमिट आपको फाइंड करनी पड़ेगी। ये लिमिट हम कैसे फाइंड करेंगे, x इंटरसेप्ट है, x इंटरसेप्ट फाइंड करने के लिए y की वैल्यू 0 इनपुट करनी पड़ती है। तो पहले तो वो लिमिट फाइंड कर लेते हैं। y equals x cube into ln x, this is what the function was। What we do is we put y equal to 0। y equal to 0 input करेंगे तो हमें क्या मिलेगा, 0 equals x cube into ln x, that gives us either x cube equals 0 or ln x equals 0। first क्या है, x equals 0 वो तो हमें पता है ऑलरेडी, एक x इंटरसेप्ट, दूसरा x इंटरसेप्ट क्या हो जाएगा, ये ln की बेस e होती है, वो दूसरी साइड पे जाएगी, e raised to power 0 बन जाएगा, e raised to power 0 is 1। so x turns out to be 1 from this। this is your upper limit। जो आपकी अपर लिमिट यहाँ पर आएगी, दिस इज 1। ये आपकी लिमिट्स है, आपको शेडेड रीजन फिगर आउट करना है, यू हैव टू इंटीग्रेट दिस विद लिमिट्स 1 over 2 to 1। all right, that's all you have to do now। the function that you have is y equals x cube into ln x। the area of the shaded region is going to be ax equals integral of y with respect to x। remember that's what the formula is, limits are from 1 over 2 to 1 in this case। let's input this integral, that's x cube into ln of x, need to integrate this with respect to x with limits 1 over 2 to 1। now how do we integrate this, it's a product को integrate करने का हमारे पास एक ही method होता है, and that is integration by parts। दूसरा method substitution होता है, लेकिन अगर substitution होती तो वो question में बताता, अगर substitution नहीं दी हुई, the only other possibility is that you have to use integration by parts। okay, so your product test को integration by parts से करना पड़ेगा। now integration by parts formula looks like this, let me write that here on the side, this is how it's written in the formula sheet। it says u into dv over dx, इसका जो इंटेग्रल है with respect to x, that is equal to uv minus integral of v into du over dx with respect to x। now the first problem is we need to figure out इसमें से u किसको लेना है और db over dx किसको लेना है। उसके लिए हम क्या करते हैं, हम ILAT यूज कर लेते हैं, whatever comes on the left is u, whatever comes on the right is dv over dx। okay, now we have two expressions, one is algebraic and the other is logarithmic। logarithmic is L, algebraic x cube is a right पे आ रहा है, उसको हम dv over dx लेंगे, ठीक है, algebraic को dv over dx लेंगे, और log जो है वो राइट वो लेफ्ट पर आ रहा है ILAT के अंदर, उसको हम क्या लेंगे, u ले लेंगे, ठीक है। Now let's input that here. We say u should be equal to ln of x and dv over dx should be equal to x cube. अब u से आपको क्या फिगर आउट करना होता है? du over dx निकालना होता है, इसको डिफरेंशिएट करना होता है, that gives you 1 over x. dv over dx को आपने इंटीग्रेट करना होता है बिकॉज आपको v चाहिए इस फॉर्मूला को यूज करने के लिए. x क्यूब को इंटीग्रेट करें तो उससे v आएगा आपके पास, which is going to be x raised to power 4 over 4. पावर में 1 ऐड किया और उससे डिवाइड कर दिया नई पावर से. Now you just have to input values in the formula and see what that gives you. U into V, that's what you have in the formula. U times V, what's U? U is ln x into V, which is x raised to power 4 over 4. ये आपका हो गया U into V minus integral of V, which is x raised to power 4 over 4 into du over dx, which is 1 over x with respect to x. ये आपने integration by parts formula apply कर दिया. Now let's simplify this. We get x raised to power 4 into ln x divided by 4. इस integral में से अगर हम constant को उठा के बाहर लिख लें, it leaves us with 1 over 4 into integral of x raised to power 4 over x. वो क्या हो जाएगा? X cube. This is now a simple integration and that is going to give us x raised to power 4 into ln x over 4 minus 1 over 4 into x raised to power 4 over 4. So आपके पास x raised to power 4 over 16 हो गया यहाँ पे essentially. Now you input the limits. Limits are from 1 over 2 to 1. Let's input those limits now. 1 over 2 to 1. एक दफा 1 input कर दें. We get 1 raised to power 4 into ln 1 over 4 minus 1 raised to power 4 over 16. That's what you get when you input 1. Remember, you have to show this working. Values input करके दिखाना जरूरी होगा. Subtract from this the case when you have 1 over 2 there. 1 over 2 की जगह 0.5 लिख लेते हैं ताकि space थोड़ी सी बच जाए. 0.5 raised to power 4 into ln of 0.5 divided by 4 minus x raised to power 4. That's 0.5 raised to power 4 divided by 16. This is what we get from this. Okay. All right. Now let's simplify this, and that will give us the result. ln 1 to 0 होता है, first term 0 हो जाएगी, ठीक है? 1 over 16. Then we have 0.5 raised to power 4 into ln of 0.5. 0.5 raised to power 4 अगर evaluate करें और देखते हैं fraction में क्या आता है. 0.5 raised to power 4. This is 1 over 16. ये चीज 1 over 16 है, ठीक है? और नीचे 4 भी है, तो ये क्या हो जाएगा? 1 over 16 into 4, which is 1 over 64 into ln of 0.5. You can say that's 1 over 2. ठीक है? Then this is minus, this becomes plus. 0.5 raised to power 4. We just figured out that was 1 over 16, right? 1 over 16 और नीचे भी 16 है, तो ये क्या हो जाएगा? 256. So plus 1 over 256. That is what we end up getting here. Constants को इकट्ठे लिख लें. One over 256 minus 1 over 16, that is giving me minus 15 over 256. Minus 15 over 256. And then minus 1 over 64 into ln of 1 over 2. That is the exact answer that you're getting. ये आपको चाहिए था. This is going to be acceptable. इसका एक और तरीका ये भी हो सकता है, आप 2 को ऊपर ले जाएं, 2 power minus 1 हो जाएगा, और फिर माइनस को यहाँ पे बाहर मल्टीप्लाई कर दें. Another way of writing the same thing would be, अगर किसी का वो आ रहा है तो वो भी सही होएगा, minus 15 over 256 plus 1 over 64 into ln 2. उसमें इस तरह भी लग सकते हैं, अगर आप 2 को ऊपर लेके जाएंगे 2 की पावर minus 1 हो जाएगी, राइट? और फिर माइनस को अगर बाहर मल्टीप्लाई कर दें तो उससे आपके पास ये भी आ सकता है, ठीक है? So this is also correct and this is also correct. That's the exact area that we were looking for here. Okay, that's 8 part B. Let's move on and do this differential equation question, and I think we will unfortunately have to end with that. and do the other two questions at a later time. So I have to do this for another paper as well. उसके भी दो questions हमारे end पे रह गए थे because of this time issue. तो ये भी हमें unfortunately ये करना पड़ेगा. तो vector ये दो question वैसे आसान भी है. Vectors वाला is not that difficult. ये काफी straightforward सा standard question है. और last question भी partial fractions और integration. Okay, yeah, this might be a bit tricky. कितनी integration है इस paper के अंदर? So there's no binomial में नहीं था इसके अंदर, modulus में नहीं था, आसान वाले topics मैंने डाले नहीं इसके अंदर. Okay, so this was pretty lengthy, this particular paper. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to complete this question number 9, and then the last two questions I will do them in another video. Okay, Rizwan, that's great to know. Thank you so much for the duas. I hope you do well in your A2 as well, inshallah. Let's do question number 9, and then we end this session. बाकी दो questions फिर मैं एक और session में कर दूंगा, उसको part 2 label कर दूंगा. ठीक है? Let's do this one. Question number 9. It says dy over dx equals this. It is given that y equals 0 when x equals 0. We need to solve this differential equation and find the value of y when x equals 1 over 2. Let's solve this differential equation. So how do we solve differential equation? The first thing we have to do is we have to separate the variables. Okay, let's separate the variables. Y terms को एक side पे ले जाएं, x terms को एक side पे रखें. E raised to power 3y, I can take that to the other side. That will give me e raised to power minus 3y dy. और right side में मेरे पास क्या बचेगा फिर? Sin square 2x dx. All right, so I've separated the variables. So once we have separated the variables, we can just integrate both sides separately. Left side को भी integrate कर दें और right side को भी integrate कर दें. जब आप सेपरेट कर लेंगे इसका एक मार्क आपको इस पॉइंट पे मिल जाएगा. फिर आप इंटीग्रेट करना है, लेफ्ट साइड को इंटीग्रेट करें. e raised to power minus 3y का इंटीग्रल विद रिस्पेक्ट टू y, e पावर समथिंग का इंटीग्रल e पावर दैट वही होता है. सो इट रिमेन्स e raised to power minus 3y, बट वी हैव टू डिवाइड बाय द डेरिवेटिव ऑफ दिस थिंग. minus 3y का डेरिवेटिव minus 3 से हम डिवाइड करेंगे. ठीक है, दैट्स व्हाट वी गेट ऑन द लेफ्ट साइड. Now what about sin square 2x? Sin square की इंटीग्रेशन कैसे होती है? You have to remember that साइन स्क्वायर के इंटीग्रेशन के लिए हमें ट्रिग्नोमेट्री यूज करनी पड़ती है. ट्रिग्नोमेट्री में इन पर्टिकुलर वी हैव टू यूज the identity for cos, the double angle identity for cos. Remember what that used to be? जब sin square आता है right side के ऊपर, one form of the double angle identity for cos is this: cos 2a is identical to 1 minus 2 sin square a. आपको ये वाली आइडेंटिटी यूज करनी होती है साइन स्क्वायर को इंटीग्रेट करने के लिए. कॉस स्क्वायर को भी यही कॉस की डबल एंगल आइडेंटिटी यूज करके ही इंटीग्रेट करते हैं. Now cos 2a is equal to this. अगर हम इसमें से साइन स्क्वायर a को सब्जेक्ट बनाएं तो उससे हमें क्या मिलेगा? साइन स्क्वायर a अगर सब्जेक्ट बन जाए, ये होगा 2 sin square a equals 1 minus cos 2a. Then we can divide 2 on the other side. That will leave us with sin square a equals 1 over 2 minus cos 2a over 2. All right. अब यहाँ पे देखें 2x है, तो अगर a की जगह पे मैं 2a कर दूं, यहाँ पे देखें एंगल जो भी लेफ्ट पर एंगल है राइट साइड पे उसका डबल एंगल आ रहा है मेरे पास इधर. तो अगर मैं a की जगह पे 2a कर देता हूँ यहाँ पे, तो राइट साइड पे क्या आ जाएगा? राइट साइड पे मेरे पास आ जाएगा 1 over 2 माइनस कॉस ऑफ 4a over 2. तो जो ये 2a था उसका डबल क्या हो जाएगा? 4a. राइट साइड पे 4a आ जाएगा. So इसको इंटीग्रेट करने के लिए मुझे क्या करना पड़ेगा? साइन स्क्वायर 2x को I'll have to write it as 1 over 2 minus 1 over 2 into cos of 4a. इस तरह लिखना पड़ेगा. a की जगह में in fact I have to write x here. This is what this form can be converted to. जब आप ये conversion कर लेंगे, the rest is pretty straightforward after that. ये देख लें कन्वर्जन होगी तो इसको मैंने 1 over 2 को मैंने साइड पे लिख दिया, ये वाले 2 को, and then you have cos of 4x. Okay, now you can integrate the right hand side. Left side पे तो मेरे पास ये आ रहा है minus e raised to power minus 3y over 3. Right side पे what is the integration of 1 over 2 with respect to x? That's 1 over 2 times x. And then minus 1 over 2, this constant remains as it is. Cos 4x की integration क्या हो जाएगी? Cos का integral क्या होता है? Sin. So it becomes sin of 4x whole divided by 4. Okay, 4x से derivative से आपको divide भी करना पड़ेगा. This is the integral that you get on the right side. But remember, we also have a plus c. एक side पे आपको plus c भी लगा देना है, किसी भी एक side पे लगा देना. Okay, so this is what the solution of the differential equation turns out to be. अब आपको क्या करना है, c की value figure out करनी है. You have to input y equal to 0 and x equal to 0. Let's do that. So we input x equals 0 and y equals 0. Let's do that. X equals 0, y 0, 0 input करते हैं इसके अंदर. Okay, we have more space. Okay, so e raised to power 0 over 3 minus p, remember, minus e raised to power 0 over 3. On the other side, we have half into 0, that's 0, minus 1 over 2 into sine of 0 divided by 4 plus c. Sine 0 to 0 ho jata hai, so we get c equal to minus 1 over 3. C की value आ गई. Now the differential equation that we have becomes minus e raised to power minus 3y divided by 3, that equals 1 over 2x minus 1 over 2. In fact, ये 2 और 4 ये 8 हो जाएगा. इसको हम 8 लिख लेते हैं. Let's say this is sine 4x over 8 plus c. C की value क्या आ गई? minus 1 over 3. ये आपके पास differential equation का solution आ गया जिसमें आपने c की value भी figure out कर ली. ठीक है, अब उसने क्वेश्चन में क्या कहा हुआ है? उसने हमें क्वेश्चन में कोई भी स्पेसिफिक फॉर्म नहीं मांगी हुई. उसने कहा बस सॉल्व द डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन. यू डोंट हैव टू मेक एनी पर्टिकुलर वेरिएबल द सब्जेक्ट, यू कैन जस्ट कीप इट लाइक दिस एंड दैट्स ओके. उसने कहा है फाइंड द वैल्यू ऑफ y व्हेन x इक्वल्स 1 over 2. आप डायरेक्टली क्या करें, x की वैल्यू इनपुट कर दें इसके अंदर 1 over 2. दैट्स व्हाट वी आर लुकिंग फॉर. लेट्स इनपुट x इक्वल्स 1 over 2. जब ये इनपुट करेंगे तो उस पे देख लें आपकी कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग वैल्यू फॉर y क्या आती है. एग्जैक्ट चाहिए हमें या क्या यहाँ पे? नहीं, एग्जैक्ट नहीं चाहिए, तो डेसिमल्स में भी इट शुड बी फाइन. अगर आपकी डेसिमल्स में आ रही है तो दैट्स ओके. अच्छा, minus e raised to power minus 3y over 3, that's what we have on the left side. On the right side, we get 1 over 2 into 1 over 2 minus sine of 4x. That means 4 into 1 over 2, वो क्या हो जाएगा? 4 over 2, right? So sine of 2 हो जाएगा essentially, divided by 8 minus 1 over 3. ठीक है. Now let's simplify this and see what we get from this. Left side पे हमारे पास ये आ रहा है minus e raised to power minus 3y divided by 3. This becomes 1 over 4 on the right side minus sine of 2 over 8 minus 1 over 3. अब right side को evaluate कर लें, decimals में लिख लें, देखें आपके पास क्या आता है. And that's okay. आपको exact answer तो नहीं चाहिए, तो ये decimals में देखते हैं हमारे पास क्या value आती है right side के ऊपर. Remember, your calculator has to be in radian mode. 1 over 4 minus sine of 2 divided by 8 minus 1 over 3. Right side pe I'm getting minus 0.19699. Essentially वो round off करके ना 99 उसके बाद 5 आ रहा है तो ये बन जाएगा 1970. ओके, माइनस माइनस खत्म कर दें. यू हैव e raised to power minus 3y equal to 3 into this. 3 से मल्टीप्लाई करें इसको. This gives me 0.59099. Okay, now we need to find the value for y. क्या करें, दोनों साइड्स पे log ले लें. पावर में आ रहा है ना y, तो ln लेना पड़ेगा दोनों साइड्स पे. ln e raised to power minus 3y, that equals ln of 0.59099 minus 3y नीचे आ जाएगा. minus 3y equals ln of 0.59099. अब ये minus 3 वहां पे जाके डिवाइड कर दें and see what you get from that. कैलकुलेटर में डाल दें सीधा. आंसर जो आ रहा था आपके पास उसको आप पॉजिटिव कर दें पहले तो. Take ln of that and divide that by -3. And that is giving me 0.175. That's the value of y that we were looking for. Okay. तो आपने डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन सॉल्व की, तो उसको किसी स्पेसिफिक फॉर्म में करने की जरूरत नहीं थी, उसने नहीं कहा क्वेश्चन के अंदर, c की वैल्यू निकाल ली, x की वैल्यू 1/2 डाल दी और आपने उसको सॉल्व कर लिया और y फिगर आउट कर लिया. Okay, now we have two questions still to do. Question number 10, that's on vectors. First part में हमने सिर्फ वो cos theta वाला फॉर्मूला अप्लाई करना है. अगर एक्यूट एंगल आ गया आपका तो उसमें आपने उसको ऑब्ट्यूज कर देना है 180 में से माइनस करके. Second part में आपने वेक्टर इक्वेशन निकालनी है. That's pretty straightforward. And you have to find the position vector of the point of intersection of the line L. Line L क्या है जो आपने सेकंड पार्ट में निकाली है. And the line passing through C and D, CD की इक्वेशन निकालेंगे, दोनों इक्वेशन निकालेंगे, उनको इक्वेट कर देंगे, 3 इक्वेशंस आएंगी, 2 से आपके पास लैम्डा की और म्यू की वैल्यूज आ जाएंगी. थर्ड में इनपुट करके चेक कर लें, वो सेटिस्फाई करनी चाहिए, फिर आपसे उसको पोजीशन वेक्टर आपका निकल आएगा. ठीक है, तो दिस इज अ स्टैंडर्ड वेक्टर्स क्वेश्चन, यू शुड बी एबल टू डू इट. And 11 part is also standard partial fractions. It's a proper fraction. इसकी आपकी एक linear factor है, quadratic factor है denominator में, ये भी आसान है. इसका पार्ट भी हो सकता है मुश्किल हो थोड़ा सा, वो करेंगे तो पता चलेगा. So I'll have to do it in another video because I need to end this here. I will complete this. There's another paper left as well, May-June 2022, variant 3.1. वो भी उसके भी 2 क्वेश्चंस रहते थे, वो भी हमारा टाइम खत्म हो गया था. I'll post both of these separately और इनके पार्ट 2 में वहाँ पे लेबल कर दूंगा. दिस इज पार्ट 1 ऑफ दिस पेपर. पार्ट 2 जो है वो उसमें आप बाद में देख सकते हैं. दैट विल बी अपलोडेड और आई डू इट लाइव एट सम पॉइंट. अभी ईद की छुट्टी आ रही है, आई हैव अ बिट मोर टाइम देन and I can do it at that point, inshallah. Okay, so that's it for today. I'll see you again tomorrow. I'm going to be doing M1 from the same session, March 2023. M1 ये paper मैं कल कर रहा हूँ, inshallah. All right, so before you leave, just a reminder to subscribe if you haven't already, and like this video and share with others if you think it might be useful for others as well. And you'll find a lot of other useful content in the description below. I've posted recordings for the complete A-level math syllabus, P1, M1, S1, and P3. And also you'll find some quick revision videos, which a lot of students find helpful before their exams. You can have a look at that playlist. And you have other yearly past papers solved in another playlist as well. So this video will also go there. You'll find 2021 and 2022 papers in that playlist. Okay, so that's it for today. I'll see you again tomorrow with M1 March 2023, inshallah. Okay, Allah Hafiz.